Good afternoon and welcome to Pakistan Today News from our New York studio. I'm Chris Taylor. We begin in Lahore, where a Tehreek-e-Tahafuz-e-Ain Pakistan, or TTAP, convoy led by Mahmood Khan Achakzai has reached the city to show solidarity with the family of jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan. The opposition alliance, which includes members of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, claims police blocked routes, detained workers, and allegedly attacked vehicles and participants during the journey. Despite these obstacles, the convoy arrived at Zaman Park, where leaders strongly condemned what they described as state tyranny, called for unity to protect constitutional rights, and announced plans for nationwide protests scheduled for February the 8th. For more on this, we're joined by our correspondent Drake Rowland in Lahore.
The TTAP convoy's arrival in Lahore comes after a tense journey marked by repeated police checkpoints and alleged confrontations with law enforcement. Opposition leaders here say the obstacles were aimed at discouraging political mobilization ahead of planned protests. At Zaman Park, speeches focused on constitutional supremacy and political unity, with strong criticism of the government's handling of dissent. Despite the challenges, organizers say the turnout reflects growing public frustration and determination to continue their movement.
Thank you, Drake. Turning now to legal and constitutional developments. Pakistan's Law Minister Azam Nazir Tarar has defended the controversial 27th Constitutional Amendment, calling it a historic step toward strengthening the country's federal structure. Speaking at a Supreme Court Bar Association event, Tarar said the creation of a new federal constitutional court with equal provincial representation addresses long-standing judicial imbalances. Critics, including rights groups such as Amnesty International, argue the amendment undermines judicial independence and was rushed through Parliament. Supporters, however, insist it will improve access to justice, while opponents warn it could weaken the rule of law. In Islamabad, the government has reiterated its willingness to hold dialogue with the opposition on all outstanding issues. Minister for Parliamentary Affairs Dr. Tariq Fazal Chaudhry said the Prime Minister has extended multiple invitations for talks and stressed that dialogue is central to democracy. He urged opposition parties, particularly the PTI, to resolve internal differences and use parliamentary channels, including the Speaker's office, to initiate discussions. The government says political cooperation is essential for better governance and economic progress. On the security front, Chief of Defense Forces Field Marshal Syed Asim Munir has reaffirmed Pakistan's commitment to strengthening defense ties with Bangladesh. During a meeting with Bangladesh's Air Chief Marshal Hassan Mahmud Khan at General Headquarters in Rawalpindi, both sides discussed regional security, professional collaboration, training exchanges, and broader military cooperation. According to ISPR, the Bangladeshi air chief praised the professionalism of Pakistan's armed forces, with both sides emphasizing shared goals for regional peace and stability. Meanwhile, a new report by the International Crisis Group warns that Pakistan has been the worst affected country since the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan in 2021. The report blames the Afghan Taliban for failing to act against Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan militants, who are accused of causing heavy violence and more than 600 security force deaths in 2025. The think tank cautions that continued attacks could prompt further Pakistani operations inside Afghanistan, escalating cross-border tensions. It also lists the Afghanistan-Pakistan situation among key global hotspots to watch in 2026. Internationally, former U.S. President Donald Trump has commented on rising tensions over Taiwan, saying the situation ultimately depends on Chinese President Xi Jinping. In an interview with the New York Times, Trump warned he would be very unhappy if China attempted to change the status quo by seizing the island. He argued that Venezuela does not set a precedent for Taiwan and expressed hope that Beijing will avoid military action while he remains in office until 2029. Washington continues to strengthen alliances to deter conflict and maintain regional stability. And finally, in sports, there's a major development for the Pakistan Super League. 2 new franchises have been sold at auction for a combined 3.6 billion rupees, expanding the league from 6 to 8 teams ahead of its 11th season. The FKS Group secured the Hyderabad franchise with a bid of 1.75 billion rupees, while OZ Developers won the Sialkot team for 1.85 billion rupees. The auction, held at the Jinnah Convention Center in Islamabad, reflects growing investor confidence and marks a key milestone ahead of the March to May 2026 season. That's all for now. You're watching Pakistan Today News. I'm Chris Taylor.